Hey there, YouTubers. All right, so I know this video is a little late with the RTX 3080s out there and 3070 not too far off in the future. But I had been asked, I don't know, 20 times, we'll say, over the months, what would be a better combo? The i7 10700 with an RTX 2070 Super or an RTX 2060 Super with the i7 10700K. Now, looking at the prices, the i7 10700K best price is roughly, we'll say, $400, and the 2060 Super is usually roughly $400. Here's one. I got mine a little less, so I'm a super bargain shopper. So $800 investment right there, right? Now let's look at the other pairing, a 2070 Super. Best price should be about 500 bucks if we find a Super. And inflation, folks. All right, so 520 here. I got mine for 500. Now, i7 10700. And I think I've seen this for $299, but 320. So realistically, it's a draw. Okay, 800 bucks either way. Now, let's look at how they compared in Fortnite. And honestly, this video is only about Fortnite. So if you don't realize that the i7 10700K will, has the ability to walk all over the i7 10700 for benchmarks for multi-core. So we're not going to go there, and the reason obviously for it being able to do that is because of its ability to overclock, right? Now, for a game like Fortnite, which seems to take much more advantage of a high single core score, that's what we're looking at here, okay? So here's a heads up that I did between these back in, when did I do this? August. The two processors, which I own both of. The RTX 2070 Super, competitive settings here, okay? 2666 megahertz, so I did not take advantage of any of the faster RAM that I had. And you can see, at least from this one example, that the i7 10700 trailed the i7 10700K by the end of it. All right, so not a huge difference when you look at the average of this. Maybe the i7 10700K was 3% better. If this was 1080p Epic or 1440p, whatever, 1080p Epic, that would probably be like a 3 FPS difference. So nothing big. Now let's look at a more recent example with some different RAM in it. 1080p competitive here, i7 10700K RTX 2070 Super. We end up with 335 in this example. This was done in September. And then over here, this is the i7 10700 RTX 2070 Super, 3000 megahertz RAM, so slightly less RAM, and the average was 320. Now, had I used the same RAM, it might have pulled a little closer, but still, the i7 10700K, just based on that, is the better processor. Okay, so other ones, we could factor in Ryzen 9, which honestly is not the best at Fortnite. So in this little thing I did here, of course, this was not an X570 motherboard. The R9 would probably do better than it showed here. But, just to throw this one out, the i7 in this example definitely was superior. In this one, I actually kind of followed the same path up to a certain point. And you can see we started here. Hopefully this won't bring up a commercial. Started here and ended, basically in the same spot. So this is about as close of a comparison as I could show you. Now, what else do we have to look at, folks? So I said I got an RTX 2060 Super. Okay, happens to be the Zotac. And let me bring the webcam over there. There it is right now. Okay, rocking away. GeForce RTX, Zotac Gaming. Eventually, the unboxing will drop on the channel. So, how did it do? Okay, so here it is with the i7 10700. Albeit I didn't have the best CPU cooler in here. You can see it got a little hot. And you know, FPS average though 327. Now we also just recently did this, and what you just saw there was the i7 10700K, albeit you know a much better CPU cooler than what was on the i7 364. Okay, so if this you know holds consistent, which it won't because it's Fortnite, I would say you know there's some range in here. This is probably a 340 to you know, this is probably the best I'm going to see, about 364. So probably 340 to 364 for this setup, the i7 10700K and the RTX 2060 Super. And then if you happen to go back and look at the i7, most of these were actually falling around 327. I ran this 4 times. And so with a better CPU cooler, would we see anything? Well, I didn't actually get thermal throttling, so potentially might not have that much of an effect. But you know, this might get up there in the 330s. But overall, I think this is going to stay where it's at. So that said, if you were to spend $800 on a CPU and a GPU and wanted to get numbers like I do on Fortnite, I would recommend the i7 10700 and the RTX 2070 Super. All right, so $800 will get you, you know, the numbers that you see over here, you know, for competitive settings. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't put it up here. Maybe I did right here. This is actually a bad example. The lowest number I've had recently, 344 in June. This has almost been as high as 400 with this combination. So if I find one of those real fast. All right, so here's an example of i7 10700 RTX 2070 Super. Now this is my best RAM, okay? 4133 megahertz, 16 gigs of it. I play 2 games. It looks like I got a first and a second because I wanted to even brag about it, right? Because I just don't get enough first place. So I get tons of second place, but first place another story. So look at that average, 389. There are lots of people out there with RTX 2080s and whatever CPUs they're using. They are not getting that FPS in this game, okay? So this is, you know, what I would recommend. You want to hit some big numbers. You can do it with this setup. Now, will the i7 10700K get you a little better? It might. Let's see if I did. So if, you know, instead of spending $800, you want to spend $900, RTX 2070 Super and an i7 10700K, you can get that number and even, you know, slightly better. So you see I played 2 games here in this example, 384 average into 18 minutes into the game and 391. Now, some point in the game it was over 400. You know, now, of course, these are me playing, you know, so I'm not, you know, this awesome Fortnite player, you guys probably noticed. You know, I do have some, you know, first places. I've got almost 300 top 10 finishes. But, you know, not bragging here because most of you guys out there watching this video could smoke me in the game. So, what does that tell you, though? $800, you get, you know, just about as good as what you get for $900. All right, so is it worth spending another $100 to get a few extra FPS? Probably not. And when you overclock, you know, if you overclock all cores, 5.1 gigahertz, honestly, I really didn't see any improvement in my Fortnite FPS. So I think actually it drops down a little bit. But now it does really help out those Cinebench benchmarks, 4K editing, other things. So there you go, folks. Hopefully you got something out of this. Sorry this was a late video, and it took me, months of thinking about, should I get the RTX 2060 Super? Should I get it? Should I get it? I get shut out of the RTX 3080 lottery, because basically for me it would be a lottery, right? I get that on this channel. My gaming videos, catapult to another level for a while, and unfortunately, we didn't get one, so we're stuck with buying the older stuff, right? But as the months go on, I will continue to add graphics cards, CPUs to the channel, and I hope you got something out of the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.